All right, good morning, traders. It's April 8th, 2026. My name is Coach Kerrigan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody out there, podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for following, liking, and subscribing to my content. Special shout out, Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy Sarah Roasted, Ed Carter, Rick Sadler, everybody that shares the BYOB content, helping get the good word out there to the World Wide Web. We just want to help the world. All right, that's it. All right, let's take a look at. Special shout out always to my paying members. Okay, you guys rock. All right, you guys are here every day. Appreciate that. Love that. I never forget you guys. I try to provide actionable, profitable content every day. All right, so I'm going to move this off to the side here. We're going to hit the summary for what happened yesterday. Had two beautiful open house days. Profits on both days. All right, so that was fantastic. Hopefully some people signed up. I'm not seeing any new faces yet, but if you are a new face, put a $sign there in the chat so I can know what's going on. All right, because I don't get the updates on who's a member, who's not a member, who left BYOB, who became a member. I don't even know. All right, but just gonna say that. So if you're in there and you're new and you took the trial, let me know. I'd love to know. All right, my SPY pivot this morning 655.50 above it. I'm a bull below it. I'm a bear. Diamond Dow SPY QQQ lower highs, lower lows, closing over bullish traps over their falling 17 EMAs. Let me just say, lower highs and lower lows, don't be fooled by that. They closed right up there next to the 660. Okay, they blasted it right back up there into the closing hour. Okay, IWM FNGU made outside days, closing over bullish traps over their falling 17 EMAs. SPY close, 2-hour uptrend, 10-minute uptrend. Gold outside day closing over a bullish trap over the flat 17. Silver, lower high, lower low, closing under a thin bullish trap under the 17. USO made another new 10-year high. Okay, bullish in an uptrend there. UNG made a higher high and a higher low, closing inside the same bearish trap it's been in under the 17 EMA. US dollar index closed near the 99.11 area, still in an uptrend there. SPY max pain for today, unless they change it, 656 with a put to call ratio of about 1.4 puts for each call that expires today at 4:15. Hey, if you're new here, all right, and it's your first time, these are all in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. These all in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. If they got a little star next to it, they're building out a launch pad. Launch pad is nothing more than a bull flag from which to launch higher. Okay, if they got a little star next to it over here, they're building out a platform, all right? Or, other words, a bear flag from which to dive lower. So I call it a diving platform, and I call it a launch pad to launch off of. So these are under the 17, over the 17, right there. Okay, so these are some to keep an eye on. Yesterday, I did add to Intel. There was somebody in the room that missed it, and I feel bad that he missed it, but I did post it in the alerts. Okay, I said I'm going to put this. I told you I was going to buy it in the $1 million account, and I did post it up there, and I feel bad that he missed it because he wanted to be known. So right up here, I said $1 million account buying Intel shares, and that was at 12:30 yesterday. Okay, so in case anybody else missed it, I just want you to know I did post it, and I want you to know that I did buy some. All right, so there's, let's take a look at the charts. Excuse me. Let's get out the drawing tool, see if they can fire up sometime before I'm done with my video, a lot of times. All right, so into the close, 10-minute uptrend, all right, into the close. You can see the sticks and the 3 EMA, all right, are mapping out or plotting or riding on top of that rising 8 EMA. You got daylight between the 3 EMA, that's that thin yellow line, and the white 8 EMA, okay? This 10-minute chart. So we've got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. All right, on the 2-hour chart, okay, we've got the sticks and the 3 plotting right on top of the 8 EMA, but you can see the 3 is pointed up and over. That's you could call that bullish consolidation, not quite an uptrend, but definitely holding the higher ground. So bullish consolidation, I'm going to call it an uptrend because the 3 is riding up over the 8 right there. So 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. On the daily candles, okay, see how we rise up to 660, rise up, return to 660, return to 660, return to 660. All right, after this fourth day up here, okay, is like, then the light bulb went off. Like, they obviously want something up above. All right, because they're just not leaving this area, even after the double top, triple top, quadruple top, you name it. I mean, they weren't giving up. All right, so from there, I just kind of figured, what are they going after up there? So I put in all-time high anchored VWAP. I'm not sure which one it is. Maybe it's that one. No, let's try it one more time. All right, so you can see right there, all-time high, 673 right there on the daily chart for the all-time high. I'll crank that up right now so you can see that clear. Okay, and you can see the price action up there. Now, I said, if they get up here, all right, and they kind of, if they kind of hang around on top of it, there's a good chance we're going higher, all right? So if they hold the higher ground, just like they did back here, okay? Well, let me just go back. Just going to review a little bit of history with you just for a second. Okay, T2123, and I want that one right there, okay? And I said right here, if they get up here, all right, and they hold the higher ground over that, see that rising 200 SMA. If they can get on top of that, hold that higher ground right up there, there's a really good possibility they're going to go for another new all-time high. Well, I'm just going to say this again, all right? If they hold the higher ground up over this all-time high anchored VWAP and they're able to consolidate up here and hold it, there's a good probability that we're going for 700. Now, given the current situation, you can't hear me? The sound is fixed. All right, thanks. Okay, so given the current situation, okay, there hasn't been peace in the Middle East for 2,000 years. All right? Just the thought of it possibly happening, all right? We could hit 750. All right? Just use your minds and kind of think about what's going on out there. All right? We haven't had peace in 2,000 years. That's a long effing time, right? Okay, so new all-time high, I think that's coming. How far we go after that, the idea that we may have peace in the Middle East after 2,000, probably even more, probably 4,000 years, okay? All right? As long as the Islamic and the Jewish religion have been alive, I'm going to tell you, there's been wars over there, okay? I mean, it's the origin of mankind, all right? For a lot of people, all right? Again, I'm not going to get religious, all right? So it has not happened in a long time. And just the idea that is happening over there, all right? And it seems like it may materialize. I mean, I question it. Yeah, I saw the news last night. They're still shooting rockets, all right? Like, It's a ceasefire, but we're still going to fire some more rockets. I don't get it. Okay, you we had hope. All right, but there it is. Okay, so that we may have peace over there. We could hit 750. I'm going to tell you right now. I think we could hit 800. I actually think we could hit 1,000. All right, but I don't want to get too far ahead. I think 750 is a pretty conservative mark to put up there. All right, if we are able to finally find peace over there, because that would take a whole lot of pressure off of everybody's on guard. I mean, you're all on anxiousness. If you've ever served any time overseas, in a forward operating base, all right? I mean, there's always rockets coming in, okay? Especially in that Middle East area. And I'm going to tell you, I mean, you're on edge every single day. If we could finally get people to relax and focus on economic conditions instead of battle conditions, all right, we could see some really huge numbers over there. All right, won't hold. I don't know. I did question it last night when I saw more rockets coming in. All right, I just thought you guys are stupid, But then again, all right, I had Rickster. I had hope. All right, I had a lot of hope. Like, oh my gosh, like finally, okay. But we'll see. All right, the history is yet to be written. Right? Hope's not a good plan, but yet the history's yet to be written. And I had hope that maybe it could happen. We'll see. We'll see what happens, all right? But I'm just saying, if things do materialize and documents get signed, all right, and treaties get signed, I think we could see 750 as a conservative number. And probably even much higher than that, if that finally happens. All right. So, anyways, here we are today, back on the daily chart. I digress sometimes. Okay, we're back up here over. We're hovering right now over the all-time high anchored VWAP, which gives me hope to get back to 700 and maybe even higher. Okay, and I'm saying we could go higher based on just that fact alone, that maybe we can have tensions ease up. We'll see. All right, so there's SPY weekly chart. All right, here's the origin of the move. Come down here on the scratch. Starts in April, up, over, still in a downtrend. Got a low, we still made a lower low. Until we make the higher high, we're still in a downtrend. We're bullish because we're still in the upper third. Okay, still bullish. All right, but we're in a weekly downtrend and a daily downtrend. Okay, on the daily chart, you can see we're in the middle. Now we're in the middle of quadrant 4. All right, but we haven't made any higher highs yet. This would be the first high to beat right there, 693.68. Unless we produce a lower high and then we turn around and beat that one, we can have ourselves an uptrend. Currently downtrend, all right, on daily and weekly. Monthly chart, still in an uptrend because they have not made any lower lows on the monthly chart. Let's go look at QQQ. It's going to be about the same thing, okay? 10-minute chart. All right, so 10-minute chart. We've got 10-minute sticks in the 3, riding up over the rising 8. See the separation of the ADMA and the VWAP line, okay? So 10-minute uptrend coming into the close, 2-hour consolidation. I'm going to call it uptrend because we got the 3 is rising up over the ADMA, so 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. Really, it's just bullish consolidation. Not quite enough there to call it an uptrend, but 3's rising up over the 8. That's good enough for me for right now, just for today. On the daily chart, lower high, lower low. But again, we closed back up in this area, this 560 number. Okay, so QQQ putting in a lower high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap, closing over flat 17, closing under all-time high anchored VWAP. They're way up there today, that's for sure. Closing under uptrend line, closing in the middle. Well, they closed over here, okay, not up there. They closed at the bottom of quadrant 4, all right? So that's bullish, all right? They have not made any higher highs, so they're still in a downtrend. Just want to see where they went today. So if they get up over right here, if they get up over 613.29 today, they will negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. All right, so that's QQQ. Weekly chart, still in a downtrend, just like the daily chart. Okay, weekly chart, here's the origin of the move right here, April. All right, they're still in a downtrend because they made a lower low. So until they make the higher high, we're going to be in a downtrend. Monthly chart, we're still bullish because we're in the upper third. All right, and we have not made lower lows, so we're still in an uptrend on the monthly chart. So there's QQQ, daily, weekly, monthly right there. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Look at it on the daily chart. All right, and on the daily chart, we've got lower high, lower low. We closed over a bullish trap, over the falling 17 right here. Falling 17, closed in the upper third, okay, not quite quadrant 4, all right, but in the upper portion of quadrant 3, and we're in the upper third of the quad lines. Remember, here's the full origin of the move here, April, all the way up here, all-time high. Okay, so we're bullish, still in the downtrend because we have not made any higher highs on Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at IWM. All right. IWM got a outside day. It's a higher high. It's a lower low. It closed over a bullish trap. It closed over flat 17. It closed under all-time high anchored VWAP. They all closed under the all-time high anchored VWAPs. All right. Closed under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Closed in the middle. Not in the middle. In the bottom of quadrant 4. So that's bullish. And I believe I'm pretty sure they did it. The high there is 253.07, and the high yesterday for IWM is 253.48. So guess what? They made a higher high, no longer in a downtrend. They just broke the cycle and created a higher high. So they're now in an uptrend on IWM. Now, if they come back down here and break that low, they'll be back in a downtrend. Right now, they're in an uptrend, okay? So there's IWM right there. That's bullish and in an uptrend right there. All right, so let's take a look at silver and gold. Okay, silver yesterday. I got to zoom in because I can barely see it. Lower high, lower low. We closed under a bullish trap, under the flat 17 EMA, under the pink line that's the all-time high anchored VWAP. So I'll zoom way out. This is the origin of our rally. Starts back here in 2022, right there. And that's our all-time high for silver. Okay, you can see we're not in the upper third. That would be up here. Not in the lower third. That would be down here. And you got silver's neutral, all right, but over the midpoint. So it's on the bullish side of neutrality. You can see it's closing under the all-time high anchored VWAP. We've not made any higher highs yet. So we're still neutral, but in a downtrend right there on silver. Gold had a pretty good day yesterday. Okay, gold got an outside day as well, I think. Yeah, higher high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap, closing, well, that's pretty close. Let's see what we got here. 17 is 31.81, and the close was 31.81. So we closed right on top of the flat 17 EMA right there. We're still, I'm going to back out. Okay, the origin of our move or rally starts back here in 2022 to the all-time high all the way back up here. Okay, so we're in the bottom of quadrant 4, so that's bullish. We have not made any higher highs, So we're still in a downtrend. Okay, so there's gold. Let's take a look at USO. This one's going to be easy. Okay, USO made an outside day, but they also made a new 10-year high right there yesterday. New 10-year high for USO on the daily chart. All right, so they haven't been there in 10 years. Okay, so if you're making new 10-year highs, okay, then you're bullish and in an uptrend. It's hard to make it and not be bullish and in an uptrend. Just going to say that. Okay, daily candle for UNG. Here's net gas, higher low, higher high. We closed inside a bearish trap under the falling 17. You can see this is the all-time low. This is a 12-month high anchored VWAP. Not a very high bar to set here, and they're struggling even with that. So we're in quadrant one. So remember, lower third is bearish. Price action has not made any higher highs, so we're still in a downtrend. So UNG still bearish and in a downtrend right now. Okay, so that's UNG. Let's take a look at game plans. All right, let's start off on the 15-minute, and let's pick up SPY. All right, game plan. All right, it's not really going to matter today, the game plan, because look how far we're gapped up. All right, so they're probably going to establish the bottom side of a bull flag. I'm hoping that's what they're going to do on SPY and QQQ. But anyways, all right, it's green erases red over 659.75. All right, it's the pivot 655.50. We're going to be bullish. We're going to look for the bottom of the bull flag up here. None of this is going to matter today, any part of the game plan, because we went so far. Unless, they retrace all the way back down here and bounce, all right? I don't think that's going to happen, all right? But just in case they come all the way back here, all right, this is the game plan, all right? I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to establish, the bottom side of the bull flag, and I will look to trade that bull flag from let's just say this is the bull flag right here, from the bottom to the top, from the bottom up to the top, all right? That's my plan on the bull flag, all right? QQQ, got a game plan as well. None of this is going to matter. Again, I will look for them to set the low side on the bull flag on QQQ, just like SPY. Again, I will be trading that bull flag from the bottom to the top, all right? So I'll look for them to have a pullback, find a landmark to hit, and then I'll look for them to start to produce that bull flag up there. Hopefully that's what they do, all right? All right? I don't think we're coming back here, but we might, all right? I really don't think we're coming back here. I think it's going to be bull flag all day for SPY and QQQ up there. And I wouldn't be surprised to see both of them consolidate for the first 4 hours of the day and just move over to the right, leaving us with very little uptrend or downtrend to trade in QQQ, at least for the first 4 hours. All right, we'll see what happens. I could be surprised, and I would be happy to be surprised. If we got it, I'd be tickled if we got a 10-minute uptrend or a 10-minute downtrend. But I don't know if we're going to get it. I don't feel like it's probably going to happen. I think probably we're more likely to see a bull flag than we are to see 10-minute uptrend. So I'm going to trade the consolidation from the bottom to the top, just like I do on all my bull flags. All right, so there's QQQ, 15-minute game plan right there. Again, 2 days, 9 days till expiration, Friday options. Again, Friday options on the multiple of 5 with because of the open interest on both QQQ and SPY. Specifically, I like a lot of liquidity, so I'm able to get in and get out. I'm going to choose at the money strikes. They're going to cost me a lot more, and I'm not going to be able to get the number of contracts that I like to trade. But recently, okay, you can see we had a 10-day ATR. All right, so is like $12 and $13. All right, and for SPY it's a little bit less. All right, but you're paying for big moves, and you can see right here, you're not getting big moves all the time. Sometimes you're getting very, very little moves. You can see right here, we spent most of the day right here between 580 and 585. Okay, not quite a $12 move. Not till the end of the day did they give us the extra $4 right there. Okay, so you're paying for options that are priced for $13 moves, but we're not getting $13 moves. All right, so I'm just saying for that reason, I'm choosing at the money. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. I don't know that we see either one of these until after the noon hour today. All right, so we'll see what happens though. All right, that's QQQ and SPY. All right, let's take a look at technicals. T2101 market moved up again. We melted back up to the same place we left off the last 3 days. That's a bullish sign, and you can see we got more participation. That pleases me. That is a bullish signal right there, or a bullish clue. All right, T2122. We spent the day up here over the 50-yard line, or the midpoint right here. Okay, excuse me, waffling around between buyer's chop zone and buy zone. Okay, again, another bullish clue right there for April. All right, let's take a look at T2123. We crossed over the falling 200. Another bullish clue right there. Okay, we're in an uptrend on the T2123 15-minute chart, because we're making, you can see high, you can see low, we're making higher highs. So we're still bullish. You've got a low right here, but it's not lower than this low, so we're still in an uptrend. So price action on the bullish side of the falling 200, I love it. All right, but still got to recognize that's the all-time high. This is the pullback, okay, on the 15-minute time frame, still leaning bearish down here in quadrant 1. All right, let's go to the bigger time frame. That's why we always check the bigger time frames. This is the 3-bar chart, same product. Here's the 2024 high made in December of 2024. That is an all-time high before any of this came along. Then we had a pullback, and then from April, this is our rally that you had in all 4 indices right here from price action. So here's T2123 produces a new all-time high for 2025 right here. All right, pull back, make a higher low. All right, rip up and make another new all-time high for January 2026. All right, we're up in here in quadrant 4. We all know this is bullish. All right, but currently on the 3-bar chart, now the 15-minute chart's in an uptrend. The 3-bar chart is not. We've got a low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower lows. Until we make higher highs, all right, we'll remain in a downtrend. But we are bullish, holding this upper quadrant up here. So we're in the bottom of quadrant 4. We're still bullish. We're just not in an uptrend yet. Here's the nice thing. We're kind of melting up at this time. Okay, we're no longer melting down. We're finally, see the trajectory? Very little melting up in this drop from here down to here. Melted sideways, but very little melting up. Now you can see here, there's a series of higher lows in each one of these candle bars. See how we're beginning to now melt up. We're moving in a different direction right there. Okay, we'll see how far they take it. We're under the 200 SMA, all right? Again, not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear right now. I'm being a bull, all right? Because I like what I see. All right. I see price back up there to that all-time high anchored VWAP. I'd be interested to see how long they can hold that area up there. Bear in mind, if you see a triple top, all right, and I'm not talking about this chart, I'm talking about SPY and QQQ, all right? If we see a triple top, all right, or even a double top, be prepared for a big pullback, all right? And we don't know how far that pullback's going to go. Hopefully, the bottom of the flag holds. We'll find out, all right, on SPY and QQQ. So watch for those triple tops and watch for those double tops. If you see triple top and double top and they're sticking around and they're not leaving the area, that's a big clue, all right, on SPY and QQQ. So keep an eye out for those, all right, on the 15-minute time frame and the 2-hour time frame and the daily time frame. I don't know. Well, I mean, we should have some answers long before the daily time frame comes into play. We'll see, all right? We'll see, all right? That's T2123 right there. Let's take a look at Stinker on the 15. Stinker on the 15 is bullish, is in an uptrend, but we're still bearish, all right? Because if I stick the quad lines on there, you can see if I drag them all the way out. Still down here in the lower third, okay? Obviously, not anymore from the pre-market activity. Still down here in the lower third, so we were bearish until last night's performance right there. Bearish and in an uptrend because they're making a low. There's higher lows, and then we got a high, and we're making higher highs. You can see right there. See that little higher high right there, okay? Reaches up over that. I can see daylight, okay, between the crosshairs and that peak. That tells me that this is a higher high. So there's Stinker on the 15. All right, let's take a look at GEX for just a second. Okay, this is Friday's GEX. This includes today. This includes tomorrow. This includes Friday. So the GEX is nothing more than an abbreviated term for gamma exposure. Okay, so we've got a lot of big numbers here. I don't think we're coming back to 668. I really doubt it. I think that we're going to hover over 670, probably over 673. All right, so I don't think any of this is going to come into play. I think all of this is going to melt off. All right, and we're going to be left with some green candles, some green bars over here, and very little over here. So I think they're going to use Vanna, all right, and Charm to wipe out all of this while they consolidate up here over the all-time high anchored VWAP, all right? That's my predictions, all right? We'll see if they come true for today, okay? I think they're going to use Vanna and Charm and wipe out all of this over here, all of this gamma exposure that they have. And I think we're left off. I think we're going to leave off today, and I'll take these off, all right, with a big green candle here and probably a big green candle over here and probably a couple of red candles underneath it. That's the way I think it ends up by the end of the day, okay? Do I think there's further upside? Yeah, I think there's a possibility of further upside. I think there's a good chance of that, but I think they want to at least put in a little platform from which to launch from. So again, I'm thinking this morning, maybe 4 hours, maybe even all day, consolidate over to the right. And again, I'll be looking to set up that bull flag to trade it from the bottom to the top. Okay, so there's the gamma exposure. I just wanted to review that. All right, Max Payne for today. Let's recycle this or refresh it. All right, Max Payne still 656. Put to call ratio still 1.4 puts for each call that expires today. So Max Payne's all set right there. Whatever I had was right. They didn't change it. Earnings report. Again, all familiar names, nothing here that's going to move the markets. You got Delta Airlines, you know that's a familiar name. Price Smart, you know that's a familiar name. Okay, so all familiar names, Constellation Brands, all familiar names, nothing here that's going to be market moving. Remember, we're index traders, we're not security traders. Okay, so Thursday, we're looking for things that will move the markets. WD-40, okay, Simply Good Foods, all right. Again, a lot of familiar names, BlackBerry, but nothing here that has enough market cap to move the markets, all right, or influence the markets. Okay, Friday, same deal, all right. So earnings, not really in play right now, or they are in play, but I mean they're just not relevant to what we trade. They are relevant, but not today because they don't have enough market cap in whatever's going to report. And if they do report, all right, to actually play a role in moving the markets in one direction or another. Okay, we do have some things in the calendar here. We got the FOMC minutes going to come out at 2. There's probably going to be a little bit of volatility. I don't think anything's really going to move. I really don't. Even if it's bad, even if it's really bad, or if it's really good, I don't think anything's going to move. I think we all know oil's going to be high, and inflation's probably coming, and probably just twiddling our thumbs, waiting or rolling our thumbs one over the other, you know, with our fingers interlocked, waiting for peace to happen over there, all right? Hopefully it doesn't last. Hopefully we can establish this within 3 days. We'll see. We got a petroleum report as far as inventories come out at 10:30. So I don't think FOMC is going to really matter today. I can't see it. I think there will be a little volatility wrapped around the 2 o'clock hour. GDP, all right, comes out at 8:30 tomorrow. That's a delayed report. Still in that government shutdown, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't pay attention to it, but I probably should. Jobless claims 8:30. GDP 8:30. Personal income and outlays 8:30. Let me just say, last time's GDP was not that great. All right. Hopefully we can make up for it. Personal income and outlays 8:30. Another delayed report. Corporate profits 8:30 as well. So all 4 of those market movers, especially jobless claims, GDP, personal income and outlays. I guess if you get combined report here and some combined confirmation here, we could see the market kind of tumble back down on Thursday. It's a possibility, all right? I don't really foresee that happening, though, until we figure out whether there's peace. And I think if the peace does come, we're making new all-time highs. CPI is coming out on Friday. That's at 8:30. That is not a delayed report. Okay, that'll be fresh numbers. All right, consumer sentiment at 10. Factory orders delayed report at 10. Rig count at 1. All right, so today we get oil inventories and oil status, all right, petroleum right there, and the FOMC minutes. Again, all of these are market-moving events, GDP and CPI. All right, I'll take some questions. If there's no questions, I'm going to render the video, and we'll get ready to open up the market. Again, for today, I'm just expecting sideways, at least for the first 2 or 3 hours, and then a breakout of a range, maybe late in the day after the European market closes. Okay, that's kind of what I'm suspecting to happen. We'll see what happens. I want them to set the bottom of the flag today. That would be nice. Hope it's over 673. That's where our all-time high anchored VWAP is. I'd like to see them hover over the all-time high anchored VWAP, hold that higher ground, just like they did in T21.23 a few months back. and then rip, and then hopefully go challenge the all-time highs. So that's the plan for today. Really just wait for the bottom of the flag to form and then trade it right back up to the top. That's my plan. All right, traders, I'll see you guys in about 35, 40 minutes, and we'll open up the markets.